Hello, welcome to From Caracas. I'm Laura Prada. In this opportunity, we'll be speaking with Cristina Bracho. She's a lawyer and also an articulist about legal topics in Venezuela, and we'll be talking with her today about the most outstanding legal topics that have been taking place here in Venezuela in the last month of 2019 and the great news breakout that came through in the beginning of this 2020. Welcome, Cristina, to From Caracas. I want to start talking with you about what left 2019 in Venezuela, because it was a very rough year, talking not only in legal terms but also in news and actions happening here. We had this self-proclaimed president, we had this failed coup d'etat, and also other topics that came out not only regarding Venezuela but also other countries in the region, but that in some way are linked because they show a way of acting towards these progressive governments in the region. In Venezuela specifically, how can we explain to those people that are watching Telus or English what happened in Venezuela legally in this 2019?
Well, it has been a lot of things happening, but we have to see what's essential. We have a president, Nicolás Maduro, who started a new period in January and who ended in December the legal year, and now he will go to the parliament to send his annual message. In this way we can see anything happen legally in Venezuela. What happened? We have a conflict in the legislative. This power doesn't want to be in the same situation of the rest of the state. He wants to be the state. He wants to be Venezuela, and he plays alone with allies in international space. In Venezuela, we can see the effect of what they are having done, because we have a situation that says these acts haven't any effect in Venezuela. Why? Because the parliament doesn't want to respect the other power, in specific the power of judiciary. That let we understand we have any new law in Venezuela in 2019. We don't have a new president in Venezuela. We don't have an authorization to war in Venezuela. Those were the big topics to say, yes, I have the power, I am the state, and it isn't true. We have a big operation of fake law. We have seen a subject who say, I am the state and I will make legal issues for a changement of government in Venezuela. That didn't happen because we have two protections, the judiciary and the constituent assembly, who stay in the scene of Venezuela.
Last year when we spoke, it was also in January, after President Nicolás Maduro took again the direction of the country for this second term in office. Then we were speaking because it was freshly new, this emerging figure, self-proclaimed president, and etc. Today we have a different scenario, but we have the same actors. We have this same figure saying he's still president, in charge of the country, and he's still president of the National Assembly. But this 2020 started over with a new heads of the National Assembly of Venezuela, and they are looking forward to be called out of this ban they're being put, and that's why we have today the National Constituent Assembly. How can we see this fight of powers now between this figure and the new heads that were elected, and of course the constitutional government of Venezuela?
We have to see many things. The first one is this time we haven't a fight between the opposition and the government. We have a fight between the opposition and the opposition. Why? because this power from the autoproclamation make a very intense economic agenda. These men have the power to sell things and arrange contract in outside of the country. And that generates a lot of tension in the opposition. There are deputies who want to make politics in Venezuela, and they are the others that they want to make money outside of Venezuela. This is the beginning of the problem. The problem is the thing of Citgo, a very important active of Venezuela in the United States, who have been taken by Guaido and his friends, and a lot of politicians in Venezuela didn't touch this money, and they think it wasn't appropriate to make what they have done in Citgo. In that sense, we have a fight. We have two subjects. These subjects have in common, they are agree with the government, but they have a fight because this year we will have an election of deputies. This sector that are interested in economy, in international relations, doesn't want to go to the election. These members who are now emerging in the opposition want to go to the election, want to make politics, want to be Republicans, and the others want to give the country to anyone who wants to take it. In this sense, we have the parliament now with two heads, maybe. One only head is this one who have a session to start a new year in the parliament, because in Venezuela, every year the power have to make an act, an installation act, and that did happen this year, and there's where this new figure come. The Guaido didn't go to the assembly and make a simulation, a play of fake law, a war play, and he said, well, I won't recognize even the power of the assembly because it's not me. That's so simple as that. He understands that he's the only figure to be a president of the country, even if the opposition said, we have anything to have with the presidential figure, because what happened in Venezuela every 5th of January is the election of the direction board of National Assembly.
How does this legal dispute, how can we understand it? Because we've also seen this Guaido selling Venezuelan assets, profiting with it. And also now he's trying another way. He's going for Telesur. This came out recently, and now we see that he's not only interested in this big oil company, the U.S. Filial of PDVSA, the state oil production company of Venezuela, but also on Telesur, a media channel that have been showing the world what's been taking place here in Venezuela, and also not only in Venezuela but in the rest of Latin America. Why is he so worried of not having the power to control the National Assembly, of not being able to control the media? In this case, we are putting the example of Telesur, but and only recognizing himself as the sole figure with full power to control everything.
I think we have to see in first place that the fight with Telesur is a fight from it's a fight from the truth. What is true? What is happening? This is something that Telesur makes, give another view of reality. But when we see what he's saying, we will see it's Telesur, it's Conatel. Conatel is the National Authority of Telecommunication. And this authority is the one who executes the decision to not give another chance of the concession of RCTV. Why is that important? Because that happened in 2007. In that year, this generation, white hands, manitos blancas, appears in Venezuela. It was a good moment for the opposition, and it was the year of people as Guaidó and many of these companions. In this sense, he wanted to take something that the Chavismo loved as Telesur. Telesur as the image of the communication from Chavez, Fidel, etc. This is a symbolic fight. And also, the fight with Conatel is a fight for money, because Conatel have the possibility to administrate the money from everything in telecommunication, cell phones, TV, radio, etc. And not only that, is a possibility to stop the ways to the Chavismo to have a presence in the region. Because we have to see that Guaidó has been done in Venezuela have no effect in Venezuela, but it's pretty the same thing that they have done in Bolivia with effect. The difference is that in Venezuela, police, justice, and military stay with Chavismo. They don't have that in Venezuela. They have been catastrophic. They say to take the force in Venezuela for Guaidó. He wants to take the world, because they know that we still to have this force of the example
and credibility
in the region. And this fight is interesting because it happened, the fight with Telesur and Conatel, the same week that Twitter said off the account of a lot of people from the government. It's like we are fighting not only have the power, we are fighting the existence in the country. And we are fighting not with Guaidó, we are fighting with American government. We have seen today that a decision of the OFAC have punished the new members of National Assembly, and these people aren't Chavistas. These people are not only the people of the opposition. It's not like in 2018 we have Falcón, who didn't represent a big party of the opposition. The new president of the National Assembly is someone from Voluntad Popular, and he is with people from the big parties in Venezuela that make a new impression. It's the opposition which is fighting even for the names of their own parties.
So if you are the opposition, but you're not with Guaidó, then you are with Chavismo. That's what's happening now.
I think that that's the vision from America, from American president of the problem, but it isn't the vision of the problem in Venezuela, because in Venezuela Chavismo knows who is Chavismo, and we have this situation. The situation with l'Assemblée has made of this space something that doesn't matter in Venezuelan reality, and we have seen even how two assemblies can be in the same time, in the same space, and now we can believe that we are going to see three assemblies in the same space, because we have two. The National Assembly doesn't exist in the country.
Now I want to ask you something specifically related to legal issues, because we've seen how in 2018 Guaidó, without having any legal figure to represent him, he stole, let's use the correct words, the Citgo company and helped United States to rob it, to take the money that Citgo had that belonged to the Venezuelan government. And now he's trying to do the same with Conatel to control communications in Venezuela. Is that legally possible? A figure, taking a figure that you do not impersonate and taking all those profits, is what's the consequences for him?
Well, we have to see it in two spaces. The first space is a space of the United States of America. There they say, well, we have recognized this government. For them, it's legal. And that's the key of the way they see the problem. The need of Guaido for Americans is that as a government that they recognize, they think, well, this is legal. This is why we are talking from a fake law. They have documents and they say, this man is an authority from Venezuela and we have recognized it. In our case, we don't recognize that, but international space isn't a very regulated space. We can go and fight, and even in this moment, regular international instances are blocking Venezuela's space to defend itself. And that is a very complicated situation. Venezuela, what is doing? Well, we have doing the actuation, penal actuation, control in the National Constituent Assembly that say these acts are relevant, these acts are from corruption. We have an investigation, we have the prosecutor who is working for make an individual responsibility from this act. Maybe even the new assembly is constituted with the force of the Chavismo and the opposition, and maybe will come back to the function of control of the public issues. We haven't seen that in last 5 years, but we have to see that the reality is broken, and what is for Venezuela an act illegal is for them a legal act, and that's the case why they want to have this fictional figure that they have in this moment, when we can see even how politic he's weak. He have not the conviction, even the opposition, but he's a very, very utilitarian figure, take a new form of colonialism, a new form to end the national state in America.
It's good that you explained that to us, and now we can understand better why you were saying that we might be seeing 3 assemblies working at the same time. Would that be even possible to have 3 different assemblies working for the government? For the country, I mean?
No. But we have to see that the thing that happened since even 2015, 2016 in Venezuela isn't legal possible. That's why Constitutional Chamber has said this doesn't exist, because we have one power. The state have only one power, which divide from the function to do the process of the public aspect. We have only a republic, and here we have not 2 assemblies. We want to build 2 states, because we have here this new assembly, and we have outside a new Supreme Court. We have someone who say, I'm the prosecutor, and we have see things like this in Libya, we have seen things like that in Syria. This is a new way to make war to this country that doesn't align to this interest that the United States want to have in the region.
This new kind of war that we've seen in Venezuela, different ways of making war today, different and updated ways of fighting a country, legitimate government, a legitimate elected government. We've seen it in Venezuela in the past 2 years, 5 years. We have now a constituent assembly in Venezuela, and we have a national assembly. When does the constituent assembly cease from having certain powers, and when does the National Assembly assumes the role in making decisions for the country? How will those two finally emerge as one?
We have to remember that the Constituent Assembly starts with a document, is a regime from the cohabitation with ordinary power. In this act, National Assembly didn't go. And because of that, National Assembly have stayed out of the political game in Venezuela. Constituent Assembly have taken this faculty that if someone doesn't take, the country will stop the budget, the permission from make some judiciary procedures, that there are acts we have to do in a precise moment to have the normality of the country. The rest of the faculty of National Assembly, nobody have taken, are sleeping since this assembly has started to work. Mm-hmm. We can see that in this moment it's really the Supreme Court who have the war, because we have a thing is very curious, is that in this election from these new authorities that they are from the opposition, we have seen the participation of deputies from the government that open a door, a question. Are we seeing the end of this state of nullity of thing of National Assembly? Maybe it's the way to make responsible this subject that they have take 2 years to destroy a country, calling an international invasion, taking the money of the country, and now we can see how this move against the Telesur and Conatel is a way to isolate the people.
So, very shortly, because we are almost running out of time, which is the what is coming next? Which is the future then in Venezuela in this 2020? What can we expect happening here?
We have to have we have to know that we have a process of election of deputy this year. The next year we will have new deputies. We will see how strong are these opposition. If maybe they want to go all to this new election, we don't know. We have to see this. If the National Assembly come back to democracy, we have new elections, and we are waiting from the results of Constituent Assembly.
So, good year that is coming ahead.
Yes.
Like this, we come to the end of this from Caracas. We were speaking with Cristina Bracho. She's a lawyer, and we've been trying to understand a little bit what happened in Venezuela in 2019 and what's going to happen in this 2020 after we have a year where we had self-proclamations. We had this 2020 with new heads of the National Assembly, and upcoming also legislative elections to have new board. Entire parliament and new board of this an assembly, and what comes out of this National Constituent Assembly. You stay with From Caracas. Next time we'll be talking more about this and other topics related to Venezuela. Until next time.